Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing well. So in today's live stream, if you guys are just now joining us, we're going to be building this effect right here. And I think it's going to be really cool. It's actually pretty simple. But what I'm going to do really quickly before we get started, or actually I just realized I'm not even showing my screen. So if you're joining us, this is what we're going to be building in today's stream. This arch kind of expand effect, and it looks pretty cool. And again, it's really easy to actually set up, especially once you kind of understand higher level scroll effects and sticky position. It's actually pretty easy. But yeah, but before we actually get started with this, I kind of actually want to cut this stream up into a video for the channel in a couple weeks. So I kind of want to give you guys a peek behind the curtains, I guess, and record an intro and outro really quickly. And then after that, we'll go ahead and get started with the build here. Okay. I'm a little nervous people watching, but let's go ahead and do it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Ryan, and in today's video, we're going to be building this really cool arch expand scroll effect here in Wix Studio. Even though it looks really cool and maybe even complicated, it is actually pretty easy to set up once you understand higher level scroll effects and sticky position. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Awesome. Just like that, the intro is done. Now let me just do the outro really quickly. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you all did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more Wix Studio content coming out really soon. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Okay, there we go. The hard part is over. Thank you guys for being patient with me on that. I just know if I didn't record those, I'd probably forget and I'd have to do it later. But now that those are done, let's go ahead and build it. And I also just want to let you guys know that if you guys stick around until the end, I'm actually going to be giving away in chat a link to where you can just download this section completely free. So just so you know, if you guys are interested in building this or having a downloaded asset of this section, then feel free to stick around. Or if you want to build it by yourself, then feel free to follow along with me. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So over here, I'm just going to switch over to my tutorial page, and the page looks identical, but this middle section is where we're going to actually build the scroll effect. Now, if we switch on over here to this effect, to this section here, you're going to see it is quite large, and it's kind of made up of a few factors. It's a video. There is like this overlay. There's this random container looking thing that's invisible, which I'll kind of explain. And then if we scroll down, you'll kind of see, I don't know if you can really see it with YouTube's compression, but there is this other text element here down below. So we're going to need to build that from scratch. So over here on the tutorial page, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we want to do is go ahead and select a background image or background video that we want to play. Now, I want to kind of let you guys know that we don't want to add this as a media background, because this section, well, I'll go ahead and show you why. Let's just go ahead and select, just a basic image really quickly. And to kind of show you, this section is going to end up being like 3,500 pixels. And when we do that, you're going to see how that stretches the image, or in our case will be a video, and it's not going to look like how we want it to. It's going to look pretty ugly. So what we're going to do is set it up in a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And what I want to do is go ahead and add a container over here onto our section here. And for this container, I'm going to turn on the advanced size settings. I like to use the Option I on the keyboard as a keyboard shortcut, but if you don't like to do that, another option is coming over here to the size properties, clicking the three dots, and then just turning this on right there. But for the advanced sizing, what I want to do is set this to be 100% width, and I want to set the height to 100 VH. And then I'm just going to go ahead and send it to the center and send it to the top. Now, if you aren't aware of what 100 VH is. Basically, VH stands for viewport. So think about like this. What we are seeing here on our artboard is kind of like a fake device that we're viewing our website on. So it's kind of showing us what our website will look like on a device that is this size, right? But what we want to do is actually make sure that but when the website is on a different size of device, then this viewport is going to take up 100% of that screen size. So it doesn't matter what screen the user is viewing the website on. This is going to take up 100% of their height on their device. So that is why we want to use 100 VH here. And you'll notice that even if we set the section to be 3,500 pixels, this 100 VH isn't taking up the full section, right? So that's kind of why we want to do that. And what we want to do with that section actually is come down to position type, and we want to set this to sticky, and we'll just leave it at a 0% offset and stick to the top. So basically what that means is when we press preview and we start scrolling down the website, this gray box is going to stick to the top of our website, and it's going to follow us all the way down the page, just like we want it to. So inside of this container, this is where we want to place in a video. So we'll grab a video, let's go ahead and stretch it, and let's go ahead and change the video out really quickly. I'm just going to type in like abstract. We'll find some interesting video that we can place in the background. Okay, this seems kind of cool. We might need to potentially add like a container over it. Maybe make the background black and then like lower the opacity a little bit because this might be a little too bright. So adding a black container over it and lowering the opacity kind of darkens the background. That way when we add text over it, it kind of shows it a little bit better. But if we come over here to the layers panel, let's grab the video box and let's go into the settings really quickly, or let's go over to behaviors. We want the video to start automatically. When it ends, we want it to loop. If there is sound, we want to turn this off because this is just a visual video. This is not a video that we actually want people to watch and listen to, right? So this is just a background video. So let's just go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and preview it. Once we go ahead and scroll, the video is going to stick to the top of the website. And as we scroll down, it's going to stick with us. Okay, cool. Now I will say something about this video that I did choose. I thought there was going to be a little bit more motion to it. So let me go ahead and choose a different video. Like maybe we choose this one here. Let's see what the motion is. Okay. That's a little bit cooler, right? So we'll go ahead and stick with that for now. Now let's go ahead and build the arch that we want to build. We don't want to place it in this container with the video box. So with this container here, this is the video. So I'm going to call this one the video. And then if I grab the section, I want to add a brand new container. So we'll just drag out a new container. And we're going to follow the same steps we did to set up this container up here. We are going to turn on the advanced settings. Again, you can press the three dots here and just turn it on manually. And then you can set the width to 100% and 100 VH. Static motion, you are right. So when I set this to 100 VH, for example, and we set this to the top, center it, and we set it to sticky. One thing to note, as he says in the comments below, is this little bar up here is technically, I think it's actually 50 pixels, but you're saying it's 30 pixels, so it might be one or the other. I always thought it was 50, but regardless, you're absolutely right. This is something to consider. Sometimes when you're building in the editor, the 100 VH thing can look a little funky, and that's because of this little banner here. Once you pay for a premium plan and publish your website, the live website won't have this banner here, so you won't need to worry about that. So that is something to keep in mind. So static motion, you're absolutely right with that. But in most cases, once you preview or once you publish with a premium plan, you're good to go. But now that we have this section here, we now need to build the arch. The first thing I want to do is actually split this into 2 grid cells. So I'm going to go to the advanced CSS grid, and I'm going to say the layout, we want 2 by 1. So now it is basically split right down the middle. And then what I want to do with this is go ahead and remove the background color, because now over here in the left hand side, what I want to do is add a new container. We're going to stretch it, and we're going to follow the same steps. We're going to go to advanced CSS grid, toggle this on, and we're going to split this into a 2 by 1 grid here and remove the background color. Now over here in the left hand side, what we're going to do is just simply add a container. We'll stretch it, and we'll make this white. And what we're trying to do, if you don't want to use white, what I would do is just make sure it matches the background color of whatever you're using, all right? So whatever your background color you're using, just try to match this so that way the sections kind of blend together really nicely and there's not like a sharp edge. And then over here in the right column of the left column, what we're going to do is add a shape. So we're going to come over here to decorative, and I'm going to go to more shapes, and I'm going to type in corner. And we're going to grab this one right here. Okay, and we're going to make sure it attaches to the right grid cell. We're going to send it to the top left. We're going to lock the aspect ratio, and we're going to set this to 100%. Perfect. And then we're just going to change the color again to match our background of our section above it and the color of our container over here. And one thing I do like to do with this shape here is sometimes on some screen sizes, not this one, as you can see, but some screen sizes, there's just like a little bit of a gap, like either right here or right here, and you can kind of see the background video a little bit. So what I like to do is grab this basic shape, and I like to come over here to margins, and I like to set this to -1 to the left and -1 to the top. And then I'll switch these over to just pixel values instead of the responsive pixels. And then last but not least, no, actually that's fine. I think that looks good just like that. Okay, so now we have this container done. Now what I want to do is actually duplicate this container. We're going to make sure we set this over here to the right grid cell. And then I'm going to set all of the margins to 0. Okay. So as you can see, this looks backwards, and this is an easy fix. So what I want to do is grab this shape here, and we'll send it to the left. Then we'll grab this container here, and we'll send it to the right. Okay, we're halfway done. Then we're going to grab this shape here, and under adjust, we can easily just flip it horizontally. Okay, and now you can see the margin, the little gap that I was talking about, and that's because it's still technically docked to the left and top. For this one in particular, we want to actually dock it to the right and top. And so with the margins, we're going to set this to -1 pixel here. Okay, so now this is our arch, and it looks pretty good. If I go ahead and preview the website, which you can see a little gap here, that's why we do the -1. So that is something I'll fix once we go back in. But if we scroll, this is going to be the effect right now. Okay, awesome. Looks exactly how we expected it to. Let's go ahead and fix those gaps really quickly. Just like how we added the -1 margins to this one right here, let's go ahead and do that to this one as well. So over here, we want to do -1 for the left, -1 to the top. We'll leave the right at 0, but then we'll do -1 at the bottom as well. And we'll make sure we switch these over to pixels. And let's just go ahead and do that for this one over here as well. We don't want to do it to the left-hand side. We just want to do it to the others. Okay. So now if we go ahead and preview again, we no longer should have that little gap here that we didn't want. Perfect. Okay. So now what we want to do is actually expand this arch that we built, right? So in order to do that, what we're going to do is actually add another container over here. So let's just go ahead and do this. Add a container. Perfect. And under the layers panel, let's just go ahead and name everything really quickly. We already have the video. Let's grab the arch. We'll call this one the arch. And for this container that we just created, I'm going to call this one scroll container. Because, or not scroll container, scroll controller. And the reason we call it that is because this is what's going to control the whole scroll effect, right? So what I want to do is turn on advanced settings. I'm going to set the width to 30 pixels. And I'm just going to center it. For this, what I want to do is go ahead and set the top margin to 100 VH. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to stick it right underneath our other boxes here, because again, we set these boxes to 100 VH. And if we're setting the top margin to 100 VH, it's basically going to give it enough space for all of this content to reach the top of the box, or to reach the top of your screen. And then you're going to see this scroll container. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want to set the height of this container to like, I mean, this is something we kind of play with. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and set the row height of this to VH, and we'll set this to like 200 for now. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the section really, really long. And then what I want to do is go ahead and remove the height of the section. That way it looks just like that. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to grab this scroll container. We want to head on over to our animation and effects, and we want to add a scroll animation to it. Okay. And we don't want to animate the actual scroll container, right? We actually want to add the animation to our arch container. Okay. And what we're going to do is expand out. So let's switch it to out. Let's do expand. Great. So now let's go ahead and adjust the animation a little bit. And what I want to do is just go ahead and set the animation area to 0 to 100. And we'll probably have to play with the scale a little bit, but let's just go ahead and set this to like 240 for now. We might have to raise that, or it might be too much. We'll find out in just a minute. But let's just go ahead and back out of this. And let's go ahead and preview it. So again, we're going to see that the animation starts right when this arch reaches the top of the screen. So by doing that, it makes it look like the arch is continuing to move upwards, even though it's not. It's actually just expanding. And as this animation finishes, you can kind of see, I think that actually looks kind of coincidentally perfect. I don't even know if I would change anything about that. That looks really good just as it is. Awesome. If you want it to kind of end like if you want this to be fully off the edge by the time you see the next section, then what you could do is just simply come over here to the expand, go to the adjust, and then bring in the animation area a little bit. And now you can see it's fully off the edge, and then we reach the end of the section. So that is how you would fix that. But honestly, I kind of liked how it looked, so I'm going to revert it back. Cool. Okay, so now that we have the expanding effect, let's go ahead and add our text. So all we need to do is go ahead and add a brand new container. We're going to, again, turn on the advanced settings. I'm going to set the width to 100%. We'll set the height to 100 VH. And what I'm going to do is just center it inside of the inside of our container. And in fact, I might even add a little bit more space to the top. Let's do like 100 VH. We'll move it down a little bit. Okay. And what this is going to do is hold our content. So all I'm literally going to do is just add like a title paragraph. We'll make it white. We'll turn on the advanced settings and maybe set this to like 60% width. Make sure it's centered. And what I want to do is just go ahead and grab some lorem ipsum. Oop, there we go. And we'll paste in this lorem ipsum, okay? And then all we want to do with this section here is remove the background color. And we're going to set the position type to sticky as well. Okay? And literally the last thing we need to do is grab the scroll controller, and we are going to, you can either set the background color to 0. However, if you need to go back and change the animations, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to find the container. So what I do is I typically leave the design at 100% opacity, but I'll come down to adjust and set the adjust opacity to 0. So that way you can kind of see it has a like opacity effect to it. But that means when you preview it or publish the website, you're not going to see it. But in the editor, it allows us to easily find it. So if we need to ever change or add other animations, we can. And so once we go ahead and preview the website and we scroll, the arch kind of expands, the text comes in, and that is the effect, just like that. Very, very, very easy to do. But it looks more complicated than it really is. But yeah, and if you wanted to, another effect that you can do is, let's see how I did it over here. I think I actually did it to the scroll container. But I actually have this container. Yeah, I have this container animating from the scroll container. Yeah, so I have it set to the scroll container. So let's go ahead and do that. So maybe with this text element, we want it to kind of animate in a cool way. So if I grab this scroll container, let's add another scroll effect to it. And what I want to do is we'll grab the H2 text here. And what kind of effect do we want to do? I think a 3D spin look cool. I have no idea. This is just kind of me playing around with it. But let's just say like 0 to 100. It's kind of hard to see it too, because I can't even like really see it with the white. So it's a little bit weird. I mean, I guess I could change it to black so we can see it. And then we can mess around with the effect and then just switch it back later. So 3D spin, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't know if this really works, I'll be honest. Let's just preview it, let's see. Yeah, that doesn't really work. Okay, so instead of 3D spin, let's do I think it's tilt is what I used. I don't even remember. Yeah, I think that's what I used. Let's go ahead and bring this in to like 20%. Okay. If it doesn't work with the scroll container, another option we could do is actually this container holding the text. We could use that to control the scroll effect for the text as well. But let's just see how this looks. Perfect. Yeah, I think that looks really clean. And then for tablet and mobile, it's not really difficult or anything, so I'm not really going to show it, but for tablet and mobile, all you really need to do is kind of just adjust the size of the text and kind of adjust the like animation area a little bit, and maybe even tweak like the row height and stuff. But for mobile, the only other thing I would probably recommend is, let's grab like this box here. Maybe we set this one to like 0.5. We'll grab this column here and we'll set this to 0.52, just so that like the arch is a little bit bigger here on mobile. And then you would also need to like set the text to be a little bit bigger here as well. But you know, it's pretty straightforward for the other breakpoints as well. But yeah, so that is how you kind of create the effect. I will be honest, I thought the stream would be a little bit longer. I don't even know how long it's been going on for. Oh, it's about 30 minutes. Okay, not too bad. But I'll go ahead and grab the link. If anyone wants to kind of copy this for themselves or download the asset, I'm going to paste this into the chat a few times so you guys can grab it for yourself. But if you guys are here, I kind of would be interested to hear if you guys, I want to ask for your opinion on something. I kind of want to, with Wixfix, I currently have like Patreon, and I also have like, what's it called? The YouTube channel members, right? So one thing I'm kind of interested in doing is kind of, I don't really like the Patreon, and I don't really like the Discord, like YouTube channel memberships, because it's all confusing and you have to be like logged in, they'll get access. It's such like a pain. So one thing I was thinking about is creating like an online community through Circle, and I think that is a little bit better of an option. And I think it'd be cool to have it like, of course, be similar to like Patreon and the YouTube channel members, where there's like more exclusive stuff, but it'd be free to join for anyone. But there would be like exclusive stuff for the people that, you know, want to subscribe, I guess. But is that something that any of y'all would be interested in? Let me know. But yeah, and Stag Motion, of course, I'm glad you like it. It's a pretty cool effect. I actually found this, a client wanted me to like build an effect like this, and he couldn't really figure out how to do it himself. So that was one of the things he tasked me to do for him. And luckily it kind of like worked out and looks pretty cool. But yeah. You check it out. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I need to figure out kind of like the logistics behind it, I guess. And if I want to do it, and what kind of like features I'd offer to free and the paying members. But I don't want there to be like too many tiers, I guess. I don't know. Speaking of clients, that would be a good video on how to get clients. That is true. I will say, I'm working on a new Wixfix website to help with that exact thing, but I will say as of right now, a lot of my clients are just coming from the channel. So I don't even really promote or market my services really at this moment. I'm again working on a new Wixfix website that will include that, but I'm not really focused on that right now because I am already kind of busy with client work and other stuff and content. So, but that is a good video idea. But once I have something that I think could be more universally applied, then I'll definitely create a video on that. I try and sell on Etsy, but no luck. Gotcha. What do you sell on Etsy? Or do you sell like templates or something? Sell templates, that is. Okay. Nice. Gotcha. Are you in the template marketplace as well? I got a few templates in the template marketplace, but I do have to admit they are a little slow at getting like the getting the whatchamacallit, at approving the templates, I guess. Yeah. You sell Wix templates? Yeah, so Wix has like a Wix template marketplace now that you can sell templates on. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can sell like Wix templates. Yeah, I've tried to get approved, but it takes too long. It does. I feel like they only have like a few people working on it at a time, unfortunately. Hopefully that gets improved soon. But it says it takes up to 60 days to hear back, but I feel like it takes longer. Hey, A, no problem. Hope you enjoy it. And if anyone's just now joining, this is kind of the preview of what we just built. It's a really nice scroll effect that you can basically use on a lot of different websites. The website I used it on, or my, this is actually going to be part of like the new Wixfix website too. But thank you so much. Watch all your videos. Thank you, Static. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you find my videos useful. I know some of them can be a little bit more boring, and then some of them are cool like this, but I try to make a mix of videos that are helpful and maybe searchable. I don't know. But yeah. Alrighty, everyone. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I'll probably, after the stream ends, I'll try to like reply to your comments. If you guys don't grab the link, or I'll make this a note for anyone that maybe watches this stream later. If you're not watching this live, or you're watching the kind of cut up version on YouTube, I will be offering this as a download on my website, but typically on my website for sections I charge a few dollars, but nothing that will break the bank, but helps support the channel. But yeah. Alright, Static, have a good day. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the template. Alright, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and this is the second stream in like 2 weeks, so maybe I'll try to stream every week. We'll see. But all right, everyone, have a good day. Bye-bye.